new message.
Hi, Pam. This is Michael. How you doing? Reason why I'm calling, Pam, is that I need help looking for a job. I've kind of run into some bad run of luck. I'm living down, actually, on Skid Row. So if you can call me back, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
On our way to see Michael. I've never been to the Los Angeles Mission before, but there's a first for everything.
Oh my God, you're videoing. Oh my God.
We're going to turn this around. Are you kidding? There are people all over the street down here.
Oh my God. Okay, on this side of the street, you can get anything you want. Spice, marijuana, crack, crystal, beer, brandy, you name it.
Okay, I don't want any of that. I want to get out of here.
I'm just letting you know.
I'm just letting you know.
So,
I want out. Well, that's nice to know that you have a pharmacy down here.
Yeah, we do.
You don't have a car down here.
No, hell no.
Dude.
My car's gone.
So you lost everything. You lost your job.
Yeah.
You lost your car.
It's gone right here.
I'm going to have a hard time taking you back down here, Michael, and dropping you off.
Why?
I don't want you to live down here. That's horrible.
I know.
When you lose everything and you end up on Skid Row, you also have debt.
Well, yeah, student loan debt, and I have about maybe $7,000-8,000 maybe credit cards.
You've been unemployed since 2013. It's
Correct.
2015. You've been applying to jobs all the time, and you can't get a job. How many interviews have you had?
4.
4 in 2 years.
Yeah, and I kept on calling them and calling them. And then the HR...
Well, they say no calls, Michael. They all say no calls right on them. If you start harassing them with phone calls, they all say no calls.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to sit around idle.
No, I know, but then you irritate them and they don't give you a job because you've called them and it says no calls. Okay, we need to figure this out and get real jobs. That's the goal. That's the goal of this. Do you understand that? We have college degrees.
Yes, we do.
We should be employed.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
here's the thing. I don't want handouts. I want to work. I want a future. I want to be able to support myself.
And now it's time for me to get a job, meet a nice woman, and just get my life in order.
I don't even want a relationship. I just want to support myself and my kids.
2-year-old, 3-year-olds, 5-year-old kids. And I'm not going to go into the whole dynamics.
Most of them are single moms.
Yeah, I would say
with
so.
Kids.
I would say so.
You don't see a lot of single dads in there, do you? Or there are some?
No, there be
with kids.
I've not on our side. There's men and women are separate, but I've never seen. If there are, we don't allow children on our side. Strictly men. The women and children on the other side.
Christmas Eve.
I got there on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2014.
And what's it like living at the Mission?
It's all right. I mean, it's a safe environment. There's security there, and there's about 450 men living there. I live in a dormitory with about 250 men.
Bunk beds?
Yeah, bunk beds. Yeah.
And so you lost your job, and you've been living there for 7 months.
Correct.
And what is your aim now to get a job? You 4 interviews.
Right.
And how did those interviews go?
The one was promising. I thought they was going to actually, call me back, but they didn't. And I was, I've kind of been lowering my standards, more and more. I have been kind of like shooting for the brass ring,
You just want a job.
Yeah, I just want a job.
You want to get off of Skid Row.
I've been downplaying my resume. I've been told to put everything on my resume, but I don't want to put the fact that I have so much education on my resume because they may go in for a simple entry-level position and then find out, they may think this man may be overqualified for the job.
And you have a 4-year degree in history.
Yeah, bachelor's of liberal arts with a concentration in history.
And a history degree will get you a job where?
Probably teaching and research with a PhD, or if I
you don't have a PhD.
No,
though.
I don't. No, and probably with with a teaching credential, I could probably work for LA Unified or another school district.
But that means you need funds to go back to school.
Exactly, right.
And get
right.
your certification.
Exactly, yes. And I have to pass the CBEST as well, which is, an examination prior to getting your credential.
So you're waiting for an apartment right now on Skid Row?
Yes, I've gone through an agency that specializes in helping people like myself. I've been on that waiting list for 6 months, and that in itself is a very arduous and long process. You need a lot of patience and tenacity. I call up my case manager every week to make sure the apartment has. I will get the apartment, and I'm currently waiting for my final step, working through HUD, which is the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, and waiting for the initial interview with them. And then I'll finalize my apartment.
So you've been looking for a job really since 2013, since you were fired.
That is correct, yeah.
So you lose your job.
Yeah.
You've been looking for a job for 2 years. You end up homeless on Christmas Eve of 2014.
Right.
Here we are in July 2015.
Right.
And you still haven't found a job. So now you're living on Skid Row. Right. And you're looking for a job and a way out. You're in debt.
I'm in debt. Yeah.
You have college loans from years ago. You're
Correct.
47?
Yeah, 47. Will be 48 in October.
Okay, so 47, and you have about $70,000 in
roughly,
debt?
with interest, maybe more like 74. I'm not sure.
And that's college loan.
That is correct. That is college loans. Yeah, my undergraduate student loans. I don't have a graduate degree. I want to apply to graduate school when I get more settled, and see where I want to go to, but. My college loans, I imagine, are somewhere around, with interest, probably around $74,000, possibly $78,000. I'm not sure. I think it's 6.5% interest.
But you can't pay on those right now,
no,
right?
No. I got a bill in the mail saying they want me to make the payment of $1,800 a month, and
you can't do that.
No,
What's your current income? So you can't collect unemployment. You collected unemployment as long as you could.
That is correct.
That ran out.
Right.
So now being homeless, you get how much money a month?
$220 a month through the County of Los Angeles general relief.
And general relief, that's basically for people who are homeless.
Correct.
And out of that, what does it cost you to stay at the mission?
I pay the mission $150 a month.
Like, most people would not realize that the mission is not free.
Yeah, it costs. But they have a program where they save some money. They save some money aside for you. They save $60 a month aside for you, and you get that when you leave the mission.
You get that when you
Right,
leave the mission.
Right, yeah.
So the people who can't afford to stay in the mission are living on the street in tents.
That is correct. Yes.
They don't have the $150, but they can come in for meals.
Yeah. Yes.
They pack up all their stuff off the street. They go in for a meal. They go back to the street.
Correct.
So you're only able to. Why don't those other people get the $200?
You know what? What I've learned in my experience being down there, the mission that I'm staying at is very nice. I like living there. The staff is very nice, very friendly, accommodating people. I've gotten to know a lot of nice people down there. But I've noticed that, I myself could not see myself living on a sidewalk in a tent or in a box or on a sleeping bag.
So $221 you get a month. That part of that, $150 goes to the mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you eat?
They feed us three meals a day.
They feed you three
Right.
meals a day,
Yeah.
and then how much money do you get in food stamps on top of all that?
$194 a month.
$194 a month in food stamps. And then show me your cell phone. You have a cell phone, right?
Yeah, I have a cell phone. Yeah.
And is that compliments of the President of the United States?
I believe so. I'm not.
You say that's Obama's program,
Yeah,
right?
we refer to it as the Obama phone.
The Obama phone?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think what little I remember from my poli-sci class in college, I believe that has to be through the Congress. That passes acts and laws.
So you get a free phone, and you don't have to pay anything for the phone. They give
is-
you a phone number.
That is correct. Yeah.
And you unlimited minutes,
Right.
Unlimited
Text,
texting.
yes.
You can't get internet.
No, that's fine. That doesn't bother
Right.
me. I go to the library for internet.
And what's the purpose of giving the homeless phones? to get a job?
There's a myriad of reasons why. I believe why. One would be, to contact friends and family. Perhaps shelter resources. Doctors, medical attention, apartment search. Perhaps there's just to stay in contact.
That's smart.
Yeah, I would say that would be.
And plus, if you're applying for jobs, don't you need a phone number the resume because they're going to call you and say, come in tomorrow for an interview?
You do. You definitely need that.
So when you interviewed at the museum, let's say,
right,
they called you on one of those phones.
Exactly, yeah. They called me on one of the phones, yeah. I was a little disheartened that I didn't get hired at the museum, but...
you came close.
I came very close.
Came very close.
Very close.
What other kinds of places did you interview at?
From the museum job that I went. Then I started applying to retail stores.
And you interviewed at some of those?
I did, yeah. I interviewed.
And you came close?
I came close, yeah.
But you didn't get the job.
No, I didn't get the job. Now at this point in the game, I don't know if it's my age.
You're 47.
I'm 47. I don't know if that factors into it. My education, maybe I used to have retail experience many years ago when I was younger. I'm enthusiastic. I'm a people person.
You have a degree.
I have a degree, and I don't know why that was not hired.
You've always worked professionally until you got fired in 2013.
Correct. Yeah.
From the funeral industry.
The mission provides medical, dental, mail services, telephone services. You have to call employers. They have a food there, clothing if you need clothing. I got this shirt here. And they
gave you the shirt.
Yeah, they gave me the shirt. Yeah, I like the place. The people are very nice, and they keep it. The security team there is very helpful and friendly to us. I made some friends there. We can smoke out in the courtyard.
Most people who see somebody who's homeless, you're on a limited income. How much do your cigarettes cost every day?
I smoke roughly a pack a day. Okay,
that's 20 cigarettes in a pack?
Correct.
And it's how much per pack?
I get them for $3 a pack.
And so you're trying to quit, right? To save money?
I'm trying to, yeah.
It's your only vice.
It is my only vice, yeah. No drugs, no alcohol. It's a vice. I realize that, but the stress levels, the depression, the anxiety.
And the apartment is a studio-sized apartment?
It's a little smaller than a studio, but it's like an efficiency apartment, as they call it.
And the apartment will cost you how much a month?
30% of my income.
Or when you don't have income, how much will it cost a month?
If I don't have income...
So right now it'll cost $75
Correct, yeah.
$75 a month, and then if you get a job, it'll be 30% of your monthly salary.
Correct, yeah.
But if you get a job, you don't get the $221 a month anymore.
No, that's out.
So
no, I don't get that.
You lose the $221.
Correct, plus the food stamps.
Oh, plus the food stamps.
Right, that's $194.
Okay, so you'll lose the food stamps. You'll lose the... Oh my gosh. So $194 plus $221, you're really getting $415 a month. Right? Right now.
Yeah, with benefits, yeah.
Yeah, with benefits. Minus the $150 it costs you to live in the Mission, you're down to $265.
Right. Right?
You have no other expenses other than your food. Well, the food comes out of the food stamps primarily, and the Mission feeds you. Mm-hmm. So $265.
When the food's palatable.
Okay, so you lose all that money, you go into the apartment, you get the $221 plus the food stamps minus $75 a month for the apartment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, once you get a job, $9 an hour times 40 is...
If I get a full-time job. Because most jobs now are only paying 32 hours a week. Because if they pay 40 hours a week, I believe under the Healthcare Initiative Act, I believe an employer has to pitch in for the health care. That's my
right. Yeah. So let's say best case scenario, you get a $9. We're starting at the bottom again. Okay, so $9 an hour times 40 hours a week.
Right.
Best case scenario, that's $360 a week. Mm-hmm. Times 4, that's $1,440 a month.
Minus taxes and all that good stuff.
Right. Taxes and everything.
And I have no dependents, and I have no.
But you won't get the extra money, and you still have to pay the apartment. That'll be times
30%, 300 a month, right?
Yeah, about 300 a month. I mean, after taxes and all that good stuff.
Right. But it would be based on your gross.
Yeah. So,
Michael, we need you off Skid Row. Okay, so tell me about your family situation. Do you have any siblings?
No.
Do you have any cousins? Any?
I have cousins. Yeah, I have cousins. And
but they're not able to take care of you.
No, well, no, they're not. They're very emotionally supportive of me. They've been very kind to me, and they call me up and talk to me.
Okay, I think we need to go and talk to your parents. Is that okay?
Sure, no problem at all. I'll be more than happy to introduce you to my mother.
And you like coming to visit your mom?
Oh, I love coming to visit her.
So your family donated this statue?
Correct. My grandfather, Robert Stout. It's my mother.
Vera?
Veronica.
Oh, Veronica.
But I put Vera because everyone called her Vera. She was born in Ireland, and I when I worked for a company, I had this specially made for her and myself. It's a double lawn crypt, and I wanted something to capture the fact that she was a loving mother and a loving wife. So I put loving wife and devoted mother, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I'm going to eventually be placed here with my mother.
There's a space for you?
Yes. My father and I talked about this about 10 years after my mom died. He said, why don't you be buried with your mother? Because I bought a double lawn crypt and I'll be put out in Riverside National Cemetery because my father was a veteran and it would be free service, so I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, funeral costs or rather burial costs. And I thought it was a loving idea because I'm an only child and I love my mother deeply. I thought this would be a very nice place to be placed with my mother, and I believe the circle of life does go back, you know. So this is my intention. I have no children. If I get married, I'm going to explain to my future wife that my intention is to be placed with my mother because she was a lovely, lovely woman, and 25 years later, I still miss her deeply.
It's a nice space and it's a nice location.
And I picked out the Irish harp, which is a symbol of Ireland. The rose, because her middle name was Rose. And then on my side, I put a pine tree because I was in Boy Scouts, and I'm also an Eagle Scout. And that is a picture of Saint Michael, my patron saint. Then I have my own name here, Michael, the year I was born, 1967. And then when my time comes, and then my future family or friends will put a small epitaph on this side. And I put daughter and son of Ireland. And the reason why I did that, I didn't want future people to think that, you know, that this woman may have married a younger man. I wanted to make it specific that this was a mother-son placement.
That's a nice placement, Michael.
So that I thought of this idea myself and designed it myself.
Yeah, most people don't put their name on the plaque right away.
Yeah.
So that's it's a nice design.
So yeah, I didn't want to, you know, I was the thing about, you know, I wanted to, you know, for future people that come here, you know, I wanted to make sure that, hey, this was a mother and a son, you know.
When was the last time you were out here?
About 3 years ago. I've been coming here since 1971, probably a year earlier. I don't remember. I used to run around and play around here as a boy at San Fernando Mission.
Wow.
I love coming here. Just bring my dog out here. It was family outings coming out here. My mother and father would come out here. My grandfather would come out here. It's a place of peaceful and quiet, and I reflect here. It brings out emotions. My dad can only come out here 2 or 3 times. He would start crying. My parents were married for 33 years. So,
right. Where are your grandparents?
Right here. This is Ann Fusco Stout. She died 3 days before I was born. I was born in 1967. She passed away in 1967. My grandfather, he was born in 1882, died in 1971. And they're both from Walker.
Serious longevity.
Yeah, so when I come out here, I have a little tradition that I do. I buy one. My mother's favorite flower was baby's breath. So I get some roses with some baby's breath, and I take the bundle and I put half here, and there's a space over here where you can get water in a little vase down the hall here, and I put half here and half on my mother's gravesite.
That's nice.
So that's my little tradition that I start.
And so you don't owe any money on that cell phone.
Correct.
You get free texting, free.
Yeah, unlimited texting, unlimited unlimited texting, unlimited phone calls.
Well, that's nice. So you
Yeah.
can get a job.
Exactly.
So people can reach you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you would be completely out of touch.
Right.
Huh. Interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a good program. I'm happy about the program.
So you get to keep the cell phone until you get a job?
I keep a cell phone.
You just get to keep it.
Yeah, correct.
Huh. And it takes pictures and everything.
Yeah, it's like a regular it's a smartphone.
It's a
actually.
smartphone.
Yeah, it doesn't have internet access, but that's okay. I don't need internet access right now. I just go to the library for that. When I had a cup of coffee, I feel refreshed. We worked on our resumes for the past hour and a half.
Okay, hold up the two resumes and show them the difference between, we're not going to do close-ups or anything, but just hold them up in the air and show them the difference between.
This is my old resume.
Look at all that white paper, and it looks like one job on there. Now let's look at your other
And
resume.
this is my current resume that my friend Pam helped me out with this afternoon.
Now hold them side by side again. Totally different resumes.
Okay.
Okay, you have several jobs on the one resume, on the new resume, and the other one, you only have one job listed.
Correct.
And we took off a lot of like the Eagle Scout stuff, and we added your skills, your computer skills, and references. We took your references off if they're available upon request. And we condensed it, made it more concise.
I'm a little bit indifferent about taking my Eagle Scout award off my resume, but that's
You can tell them about that when they
I will.
bring you in for an interview. You can tell them all of that. But to have it on there, it was taking up space and not making a point that you've actually had other jobs.
Now, we are looking at jobs on Craigslist.
We're looking at jobs on Craigslist.
And we fixed our resume. There was a question mark on our own resume for one of the years.
Correct.
Whoever did your resumes for you before, they were very kind, but they made a mistake by putting a question mark.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So no more question marks on
No
your
more
resume.
question mark. If I don't know the answer, they don't know the answer.
That's right. So now what kind of jobs are we looking for on Craigslist?
Right now, I'm currently looking for retail positions in the greater Los Angeles area. You know, living down on Skid Row and losing everything, and your car, my apartment, and my dog, and my.
Oh, you lost your dog?
Yeah, I lost my dog. Yeah.
What happened to your dog?
My former fiance, we took the dog. I thought it'd be better because I had no place to take the dog. So the dog.
What kind of dog?
It was a mini pin. Mini pin.
So you lost your job.
Correct.
You lost your apartment.
Right.
You lost your car.
Correct.
You lost your dog.
Right.
You're living on Skid Row.
Correct.
Where's the silver lining?
The 20 packs of cigarettes a day are the silver lining for right now. Thank you. Yeah, it's
makes a little bit more sense.
And a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee too.
Now, here's a question. How do you make extra money?
I donate plasma.
How much is that? How much do you get?
I get about $75 a week.
So do they give you orange juice? They take
No.
your blood?
No, that's it. You're out the door. You're out.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a long line to give plasma?
Yeah, it takes me from the time.
You get $75 a week?
Yeah.
And you give once a week?
Yeah. Once a week. I'm sorry, twice a week. Twice a week. Excuse me, twice a week.
Twice a week you get.
Yeah.
And you get 75 flat for that.
Yeah. 30 for the first time and 45 the next. So that's how they break it down.
So what if you gave 3 times? Would you get
You
more?
can't. There's a limit on that. You can't.
And there's a bunch of people down there just waiting to get blood.
Yeah. The whole thing it eats about 4 hours of my day up.
4 hours?
4 hours
Why?
a day. Because the time I commute to where the plasma place is, stand in line. I have to ask a questionnaire. They take my blood pressure. Take my they poke my finger to test for iron levels and protein levels and various other things they look for. Make sure that I'm medically healthy.
And where do you go when you need to apply for jobs?
I go to the
The library?
no, I go to the One Stop Center, which is the city of LA, on Wilshire Boulevard and Bixel, and I go there, and they have computer services there, and they're open from 8:30 until 4:45 Monday through Friday. I go there and I look online and I apply for jobs.
And you're able to go to the library. Isn't it limited though, the hours?
2 hours a day.
2 hours a day. So
Yeah.
that's not much time to get online to look for jobs and
No.
fill out applications.
No.
Take a long time to fill out.
Oh, I know. I mean, and now and a lot of these, even the most simple jobs when I was younger, you know, if you wanted like a counter job, let's say working at a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant, you would be, if you seem to be, presentable, articulate, maybe not articulate, but well, not a nice person, they would pretty much hire you on the spot. Now,
On a handshake.
Yeah, on a handshake. Nowadays, they all these questionnaires that last about 45 minutes, and they pretty much, it's more of a psychological test, to see, if.
Yeah, but sometimes, Michael, you have to input the information into the system that's on your resume.
Yeah.
You have to repeat it and retype
You
it.
do.
Some of those online things take hours. It's a very complicated process
Oh,
applying
yes.
for jobs
Yeah,
now.
it is.
It's not on a handshake. It's not walk through the
Correct.
door. It's not a help wanted and sign
No.
in the door in
Those
the window.
days are gone.
Yeah, you have to do everything
Everything
online.
online.
And so in 2 years' time, you got how many interviews?
4.
4 interviews.
Yeah, you
in
need
2 years.
patience. You need patience. A lot of patience. This is the most patient I've ever had to be in my entire life. Applying for, I've always been the type of person, I walk in, I meet the person, and I get hired on a handshake, and based on references, of course.
You need to shave. You need to start shaving again.
Yes.
We're going to get you some interviews. See
Yes.
if we can, if we have to, we're going to go door to door, but that doesn't seem to work. I want people to know you're not just a number. You're a real person with a real history who had a whole professional life.
And I enjoy reading.
Oh yeah, what are you reading?
Yes, I am. One thing that keeps me occupied living down there is I go to the Central Library about 3 times a week, and I like science fiction. I'm a great fan of H.G. Wells, and I'm reading a book right now called The Sleeper Awakes, based on a man who fell asleep in 1898 and woke up in 2102, I believe. And that just keeps my mind occupied, reading, because the TV is limited down at the Mission. It's either History Channel or the Biography Channel or a lot of religious programming. I actually got a free ticket to see a French documentary about 3 weeks ago in downtown LA. It was free.
You saw a documentary?
Yeah, I
on
did.
Skid Row or down the street?
No, it was in the newly renovated part of Los Angeles on Main Street.
Nice.
And I read the subtitles because I haven't gone to a movie in over a year.
We have news. We've been working on Michael's career.
Right.
And you have 2 interviews tomorrow.
I have 2 interviews tomorrow.
One for Carl's Jr.
Right.
For shift work.
Correct.
Probably $9 an hour.
That's fine.
And then the other one is LGBT rights.
Yes. Correct.
And for the Civil Liberties Union.
Now, what about this friend of yours who's writing to you from Kenya?
Yeah, she's a friend of mine I met online, and she asked for some money to help her with the funeral.
With a funeral for who?
For her aunt who passed away.
Her aunt passed away in Kenya.
Right.
You've never met her. You've talked to her online.
Correct.
And you said you would send her money through Western Union?
Yes.
Okay, Michael, this is a scam. She is trying to go after your kind heart, and you're not going to send her money in Kenya. Say, I'm not going to send her money.
Send her money.
It's a scam. You know that, right?
Yes.
Nobody died. There's no funeral in Kenya. You're never going to see this girl. It might be a guy writing to you. It's a scam. It's a common scam. And they scam old people and people who are in trouble. So are you going to send her anything? Are you going to keep in contact with her?
I won't send her anything.
Promise?
Promise.
You can't afford it. You're living on Skid Row.
No, I can't. I can't afford it.
Okay, then don't tell her you'll send her any. I think, where did you meet her? On Facebook?
Yeah. And I had a nice hot shower.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Because it's community showers down there, right?
Yes, it is. The community showers. It felt nice actually taking a private hot shower without,
People around.
people around. Right.
Yeah, because you have to shower at certain times during the day.
Yeah, we do. We have to shower between 5:30 and 7:30 in the morning, or at 12 noon, or at there's another time would be from 5:30 to 6:30 at night.
Wow.
Yeah, and the 12 o'clock shower. Not only do we get people that live in the Mission, but we also get people from off the street that are allowed to shower there too.
And we ran out of cigarettes. That's good.
It's not good, but I'm out of cigarettes.
Out of cigarettes, you'll be fine. You'll get through the night.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here at Carl's Jr. We're ready for our interview, and
Yeah.
we look pretty good.
Thank you, Pam. How do I look?
You look good.
Like the shirt?
Yeah, you look good, and
Shaven,
we should
clean?
get out and show people what you really look like.
Oh, okay. You want me to get out of the car?
You look good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here at Carl's Jr. We're ready for our interview.
For all those single women out there, I am 6'2", 215 pounds.
Okay, Michael. Positive thinking for the interview.
Exactly,
We're not thinking
right,
about anything but the interview.
Okay, right.
Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. You're going to do a good job in this interview.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right.
So what's going on?
Well, I'm waiting for the manager to show up, and I spoke to one of the employees there, and she's running a little late, so I'm just going to hang around till she comes. So I think my interview went well. She basically said that I was overqualified for the position that I was applying for, which was an entry-level crew member. But she is going to try and get me into some sort of a manager trainee position. She said she'd do anything she could to try and help me.
Okay, Michael, we're here at Tender Greens.
Yes, we are.
We asked them about a job, right?
We did.
And they said go online.
Yeah.
But look at this food.
The food's wonderful.
Look at that. Hibiscus
Steak.
tea.
Steak and potatoes, nice garlic bread, and some baby spinach salad.
Would you work here?
Yes, I would. It's a very clean environment. I like the staff. The food is well prepared, and it seems very nutritious and healthy food.
Okay, enjoy your meal.
Thank you. Mmm. Mashed potatoes are very smooth, and texture is great, and buttery, and garlic. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, Michael, where were you just now?
I would donate plasma.
You donated plasma.
Right. I donated
and we're,
plasma. See, that's what I extracted.
Did
the
it hurt?
plasma. No, it doesn't. It's a big needle, but it's been I don't do it for such a long time. I don't even hardly feel it anymore.
So we're in Van Nuys.
Right.
So you usually take a bus out here, 2
Yeah.
hours here,
Yeah.
2 hours waiting in line,
Yeah.
2 hours back.
It's about-
That's a full day.
Yeah. It is.
And you got how much money?
$30 today.
$30 in cash.
Yeah.
And they gave you orange juice and a cookie?
No, nothing. You're out. The
Really?
door. Mhm.
They just take your blood and they don't
That's
give you
it.
any? I
You're
would
out of
pass
there.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're $30 richer.
Yeah, I am.
Did you go and buy cigarettes already?
Yes, I did.
You need a financial management course, how to manage your money.
Okay.
Cigarettes are not at the top of the list,
Okay.
okay? But I understand. Okay, so we're going back to Skid Row, and then we're going to go to your other interview.
Yeah, that's fine.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Sounds like a plan. So has this been a good experience for you,
Yes,
Michael?
it has.
Why?
I feel well rested. I feel uplifted. Spiritually, emotionally. I feel better about myself being away from the Skid Row environment. It's very depressing down there. I'm in a normal setting, and I feel hope and optimistic about my job interview.
One thing I can't figure out is why you're accepting clothing from the mission.
Because I had all my belongings thrown out.
Everything you own,
Correct.
your clothing, your shoes,
Yes.
all gone.
Yeah. What motivates you, Pam?
I like to be busy. I like to contribute to society. I like to leave my mark. You know, we worked in funeral service. Don't you want to leave your mark?
Of course.
That's what I do. I like to stay busy. I like to write. I'm always writing stories. I'm always writing, producing, directing, you know, content. To me, it's all about contributing to the content of the dialogue.
Keep yourself busy.
Keep yourself busy. You're on the go. You go to the library. You go to a program. You go to give blood. You go to go. Job search. You go. Right?
Right. You don't
All the
stop.
time. You can't stop.
You stop, you die.
You stop, you die. Okay, Michael, how'd the interview go with the LGBT?
I think it went well. You know, the man was very, you know, passionate, and I was very passionate. He asked me what my other causes I was excited about, and I mentioned, you know, I think that, you know, that middle class is becoming weeded away in this country, and I mentioned that we have to get that kind of voice out there to the public, and I think I did good. I didn't get a good read on him, you know, if I did good or not, but I will know on Monday.
Okay, we've put a few days into this. What is your next step?
Immediately, right today?
Yeah, go and relax.
I'm going to have a nice cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette, man.
That's it?
That's it. It is 3:30, almost 4 o'clock. I put in a long day, 2 interviews, and
Gave blood.
gave plasma today. I'm going to sit back and relax, have a nice cup of coffee, unwind, reflect on my day, and smoke my cigarette.
So I'm sitting outside of Carl's Jr. I think I'm in Koreatown, and Michael stopped here from his bus ride home the other day, and he walked into this Carl's Jr. and asked for an interview. He asked for a job, and apparently it worked. So they're interviewing him right now, so we're going to wait and see how it goes. But really navigating so many interviews around Los Angeles, you need a car. The traffic's crazy. The bus is unpredictable. You have to leave hours in advance.
Okay, so how did the interview go?
I think it went well. The interview lasted about a half an hour.
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay, I actually got there at 2:15. I saw her around, the manager around 2:25. So I think it went well. We went through the entire managing process. She kept on checking off little boxes as she was talking to me. So she's left with the standard thing. She has a few more interviews to do, but they decided to hire me till let me know by next Friday.
Okay, so what happened with the LGBT thing? They were supposed to let you know by Monday.
No phone call.
Okay. What are you doing, Michael?
I am watering your tortoise. I'm keeping him nice and cool. It's hot out here. It's a hot July, and the tortoise needs to be watered.
That's because the whole yard is dead due to the drought.
And this is the first time in my life I've ever actually watered a tortoise.
Do you find it's fun to take care of animals?
I love taking care of animals. I had a dog all my life. I love taking care of fish aquariums, and that's the first time I'm tending to a tortoise. I think pets and animals are great. I think it's very therapeutic and relaxing to take care of animals. If I can get a job as an animal caretaker, I would take it.
There you go. There's the advertisement. If somebody's hiring at a zoo, Michael's your guy.
You're hiring at the zoo? Hire Michael.
If you need anything sewn, like these shorts they gave you at the mission, they're a
Right.
little big.
Yeah, they are.
Who do you go to get it sewn?
There's a lady down the end of the street who I became very, very good friends with. She's a nice lady. Her name is Stephanie. And everyone knows her in the neighborhood. She's on the corner of St. Peter and 5th, and she has a sewing machine, and she sews things for free. And, you know...
So how does she plug in her sewing machine?
She has a solar panel now. Yeah,
She has a solar panel on Skid Row.
Right. Mm-hmm. A regular, I think it's a Singer, or just a regular electrical sewing machine, sewing machine. And she powers it by solar panel.
And do you have somebody cut your hair?
I do at the mission, yeah. I get
Somebody does it for free?
Yeah, they do, yeah. I have to go Monday through Fridays. I can't go on the weekends, and there's certain hours during the day which I have to go to. So my hair is a little overdue for a haircut. It's summer months now, and I need a haircut. So.
And so they give you a free bus pass and a free train pass?
The mission does not provide a free bus pass. I had to go through an agency called Access and apply and go through a series of tests and questions for that. And Access is a company funded, I think it's funded federally and also by the County of LA.
How do you find out about all these programs? So you're in the Access program, you're with the mission getting food, you're getting, general relief, you're getting food stamps, and then you're getting the Lifeline Obama phone,
Correct,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get it all.
I think
but
so,
different
yeah.
agencies.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing about, being homeless,
Do they give you a handbook and say, here, this is
No,
how you do it?
no, they don't.
You have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah. A lot of it's word of mouth. And, in some agencies will be open on certain days. So the thing with public transportation, you can't schedule more than 2 or 3 appointments a day because you're limited by public transportation. So if obviously with a car, you can probably do 2 or 3 things at one time. 5 to 10 things in one day as opposed to 2 or 3 things by taking public transportation.
Now, you went to a restaurant today that you owed money to, right?
Yeah, I did.
You paid them in food stamps.
Yeah, I'm on the hot meal. There's a difference. I'm on the hot meal program through LA County, which allows certain restaurants to provide me hot meals. So
with the food stamps.
Correct. Yeah, some food stamps don't have the hot meal program. Mine has the hot meal.
So you built up an account at this restaurant for eating their hot meals.
Correct.
Right? And so you owed them how much?
Like $25.
So you paid off your debt.
Yes.
So you paid them their $25 in food stamps for the hot meals they've been providing for you.
Correct, yeah.
And that's probably when you're traveling around to the library or whatever. You're not at the mission to get a meal.
Yeah, because there's only a fixed, exactly. So when I get hungry, if I miss my meal time, I get hungry, I can come over there and get a meal there.
And can we talk just briefly about the point system and how many points you have to earn?
460 points a month.
And that's programs and everything you do to stay active.
Right.
You get points through the mission, and those points translate into support for the mission.
Exactly, right.
So it benefits the mission if you earn all these points.
That is correct, yeah.
But there are only so many hours in the day, Michael, that you can do the programs and try to get a job and to keep yourself afloat see the lady to sew your clothes and get the haircut. And
today's a prime example. We had to be up at 5 o'clock this morning, all of us, because they do a once a month clean of the entire men's dormitory. And we had to take all our belongings with us or put it down in storage, and we cannot return until 5:30 this afternoon.
5:30 this afternoon. So
Yeah.
you've been out of the mission since 8 o'clock this morning, and you
Correct.
can't be. Where does everybody go? Just onto the street.
Wherever. Library, park, if they have a job, if they have whatever their destination is.
So this was a perfect day to have your interview with Carl's Jr.
Correct.
You need to go to the blood bank tomorrow to give plasma to
Yes,
make
I
money.
do. I do.
And
yeah.
this will be the first time this week, so you'll only get $30.
Correct.
But if you go a second time this week, it'll be $45 the next time.
That is correct, yeah.
But that takes you a whole day away from applying for jobs
Yeah,
because it's a
it's-
6-hour thing.
Plus, it's, it's physically draining, to give
Oh,
blood.
to give blood?
Oh, yeah. I get headaches sometimes. Some people, I haven't gotten nauseated. I'm unfortunate. But I do get fatigued.
You
And
do
I-
get.
Yeah, and it really hits me the next day. I want to sleep like 10 hours a day.
Right.
I get fatigued easily the next day.
And your interview went well today at Carl's Jr. We
Correct.
should probably get online and try to post your resume some places.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Let's do that.
Okay. Anything else you want to do other than eat? Because I know you like my spaghetti.
I love your spaghetti.
It's the only thing I
it's great.
can make.
No, it's great.
That's it.
It's great.
Eggs and spaghetti. That's pretty
Well,
much it.
I can teach you how to cook in one of these days if you allow me to cook in your kitchen. I'm a fairly good cook. So.
You could cook then. You could be a chef. You could cook. You could cook at one of these restaurants. No.
I could. I have to master the fast chopping of the preparatory work, but I think I could do that.
Yeah, you could do that. Do they have any Subways down there? You can make sandwiches.
Yeah. I actually applied to one Subway. Never got a call back or anything.
Never
like
got
that.
a call back.
No.
You've gotten no responses
No.
from any of the interviews.
No, not even. No, I haven't. No.
They've
No.
been encouraging, but they didn't even say you didn't get the job.
Correct. Yeah. In fact, the new thing is now. The woman, the manager of the Carl's Jr. told me if we don't hear back from you, we decided to hire someone else.
Oh, that's nice.
So, and the standard thank you for your time. She was very nice though. I think she's going to put some interest into my application.
Anyway, so this might be ultimately a good thing. We might end up with better jobs. Howard Stern once talked about being fired. He was fired repeatedly. Howard Stern. Oprah Winfrey was fired. But Howard Stern said, his agent came in after he was fired. He bought a house. He had a kid. He was, moving forward with his life. And the next day he was fired. And he said it was rock bottom. And my agent came in with a bottle of champagne and said, "This is good news. This is great. They aren't holding you back anymore. You can do anything now." And look where he is now, making $400 million a year.
Wow! His agent saw the other side of the coin. Most people would be depressed, upset, thinking about their house mortgage, a child they have to feed. I don't know if Howard Stern was married or not at the time.
Yeah, he was married.
Yeah. So,
married, and you buy a house and you think you can make the payments.
Right.
And then you lose your job, you're fired.
Oh,
and they spell it out. They didn't just lose their job. They weren't laid off. They were fired.
It's
Show
devastating,
over.
not only for Howard Stern, but for anyone in that position.
Yeah, and we have a lot less money than obviously Howard Stern.
Sure, of course, yeah.
But at the time, he didn't have as much as he has now. What I'm saying is you can reinvent and move forward. So we're off to
The plasma place.
the plasma place in Van Nuys to give blood.
Correct.
So you can make $30
Correct.
or $45. Did you already give one?
30.
30 for the first time this week.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Did you sleep well?
I slept very well, thank you.
Okay. And I have an interview today, a phone interview
Okay.
for a writing job,
Very good.
which is great.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, what time is your interview, Pam?
1 o'clock.
Great. Good luck to you.
We have to go to the blood place first.
Okay.
And then I'll pick you up and then I'll have my interview and we'll see how that goes.
Great. Sounds good.
And then we have to get back online for you.
That's fine. We'll put in some job applications this afternoon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
So you went and gave blood.
Yes.
Did you get money?
Yes.
How much?
$30.
$30 in cash. And did you spend any of it yet?
No.
Now, I understand EBT means electronic benefit transfer. Is that right?
Transaction, right.
Oh, transaction.
Right.
And that means anytime you see EBT in the window of a store or a grocery store or a restaurant, that means they take food stamps, right?
Correct.
So we're going to get Subway for lunch. So Subway, does that say EBT?
Yes, it does.
So if you want a hot meal, can you use that anywhere? You can use it at Ralph's?
No, I can't. I can't use it at Ralph's. If I want to go to Ralph's or a place that sells those rotisserie chickens, they consider that a hot product, and I cannot purchase it. And I cannot even purchase a hot cup of coffee at some of these places.
Why is that?
They consider it a hot product, but for some reason Subway takes it as a EBT card, and I can go to KFC and get myself some fried chicken, which is a hot product, and I don't know how that works out. I really don't. But if I wanted to just buy a nice rotisserie chicken for $6-7 and some potato and some French fries and a drink, I couldn't do that at a deli.
That doesn't make any sense. Can you buy groceries at Ralph's?
Yes, I can.
Can you buy, but you can't buy hot groceries.
That's correct.
So a deli item is considered a hot grocery.
Correct. Because
That makes no sense.
it makes no sense. I was told it's because it was prepared by someone else, but the person at Subway is preparing my sandwich, so I don't understand it. I don't. I just kind of go.
You were telling me that there are people at the Mission who actually have jobs.
Yes, they do.
They're the working poor. They
Yeah.
can't afford housing in Los Angeles.
Right.
So they go to their job during the day and they come back
At
later.
night, yeah. I know one man who's about my age. He's an African American man. And I think he's having some family issues, and he's a very nice gentleman. And he works at Roscoe's Chicken House
Right.
in Anaheim, of all places.
So from the LA Mission, he goes
Right.
to Anaheim every day by bus?
Yeah, I don't know how. That's a commute. That's about, I think, 2.5 hours.
And he probably makes minimum wage.
Yeah, actually, he does.
And he's in his 40s or 50s.
I would say, yeah, he's about probably his late 40s, early 50s, around my age. Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to feel like we're in that movie, American Beauty, where Kevin Spacey's character goes back to work in his 50s at a fast food joint.
Right.
Do you remember that? He gets fired from his job and he goes back to work at a fast food joint. Or Walter White, Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
At the beginning of that series, he was working a second job at a car wash,
Yeah.
and the high school students were making fun of him because he was cleaning the tires. Oh, clean those nice, Mr. White, you know?
Yes.
I mean, just embarrassing. Here you are 50, you work your entire life to be a teacher, and then you need a second job to make ends meet, working at a car wash for minimum wage.
Yeah, in the series Breaking Bad, he has a graduate degree in chemistry, and he's a high school teacher, and the man is getting a second job as a car washing attendant.
This is our life. This is a life for a lot of people in their 40s and 50s who try to reinvent themselves.
I'm finding that out. Yeah, I thought at this point in my life I would be, settled into a nice career with possibly a house and a nice wife, and professional wife, with one child maybe.
But here you are with a college degree.
Right.
You're $74,000 in college debt from 30 years ago almost, right?
Almost, yeah. 74,000.
You have $74,000 in college loans, and you've never made over $40,000 a year.
That's correct.
That's a working poor, Michael.
I know that. It's pretty sad.
You live off of credit cards in order to make ends meet and to get to your job or to dress for your job. And then you never make over $40,000, but you owe $74,000 in college loans. That's
Right.
shocking.
Yeah, I know. And
How do you break the cycle if you always have to work for somebody else? And here's the thing. In Los Angeles, there's this new business model of unpaid internships, unpaid entry-level jobs. You have to be unpaid for a certain period of time in order to hope to get a paid job. Unpaid internships, there are tons of unpaid internships.
I'm sure there are.
For people who are not in college, but I was an unpaid internship at the age of 49,
Mm-hmm.
which is shocking.
Right.
It's shocking to me that I have to take an unpaid job in order to get a paid job back in the industry, but the unpaid internships are now replacing all the entry-level jobs.
It seems that way, yes.
That's hard. And like the sales job I was going after, it was unpaid for 3 days, and then it was an 11-day cycle of work, and then it was like 3 days, part days, unpaid again, and there were no benefits. It was all 1099. There were no, and I'm thinking, how do you ever get ahead? Are these all meant to be short-term jobs? And then as soon as you get the job, you're constantly looking for the next job so you can work your way. How do you ever work your way up at our age? If we haven't worked our way up, I mean, I've been successful. I've always been successful no matter where I was. Whether I was at the radio station as a radio news anchor, I was successful. I left that on my own terms. I worked at Fox. I was successful. They were great to me at Fox. They were great to me at HBO Pictures. And then I got into the funeral industry, and for the first 8 years, they were great, and then management changed, and it all went to shit. I don't know how else to put it.
Okay.
You know, you work so hard to be the first at something, and then management changes and the ideals change.
You know,
and then it puts you out of a job.
I don't know, because you and I are both, you know, autodidactic, self-starting people. You know, we have the education behind us. We're willing to work. We'll show up. There's no issues with us, you know, about you know, doing what's expected of us in the workplace. If we have a supervisor or a manager, I'm willing to do that. And
I mean, I've done all kinds of jobs to help families. I've carried flowers to the car. I've done other people's jobs when they weren't around or they had to leave. I stay. Whatever they've asked me to do, I've done, and I've done more, which would get me in trouble for doing more for families, which is bizarre. Because you want the client, and my clients always left happy. You know, they were pleased with the service. They were grateful for the service, and I love my families. My families didn't complain about me. They were nice to me. They were pleased with the service, and they asked for repeat services. And here I am, not knowing even if I'm fired or off the list or whatever, and just not getting work. So now I have to start over. We both have to start over and reinvent. Reinvention is key, right? And you have to, in order to be in the game, I guess you have to play the game.
Unfortunately, I don't like doing that to some degree, because I'm a very, you know, a forthright, honest person. I don't like having kind of a facade. You know, what you see is what you get.
Right.
But unfortunately, it seems that is the case. You know, play the part.
Play the part.
So
we have to become actors to get our next job.
You know what? I think it seems that way, Pam.
So my acting career is finally starting in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, just
wow.
Just you know, use the your next job interview as kind of a stage, and pretend you're the actor and you're on stage, and just, you know, basically tell them what they want to hear.
Okay, well, we better get going because I have a phone interview.
Right.
And you have a phone interview, then you have an in-person interview, and then you might have a second interview. So you might have a total of 3 interviews in order to get a job. Any job these days, even the low-paying jobs, they make you jump through 3 hoops.
They do.
In order to get any job.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre to me. The last time I was in any kind of application process, you go in, you meet somebody, even for the sales job, though. I went in, I met him, he said, great, you're on the list, you come in on, Saturday.
That's the way I used to work. I mean, years ago, even for this Carl's Jr. position. You know, of course, there's other applicants out there, but years ago, if the manager liked you, you know, and if he checked your references, which is fine, you know, your previous positions.
Well, I have stellar references. You have stellar references.
You'd be hired. You know,
you should be hired. So I just had a phone interview today for a social media job, and the HR woman, another woman, said to me, now let me get this right because I wrote it down. She said I was overqualified. She told me to take HBO and Fox Studios off of my resume because it made me seem too senior level with too much experience. So I wouldn't be happy to start over in a junior level job that pays $15 an hour. And I told her, I need to start over though. So how do you start over in an entry level job if you don't have enough experience to start over in an entry level job? Entry level means starting over. And she says, here comes the kicker. She said, I see women trying to start over at your age all the time. And I choose to give them advice, but not the job. So by mentioning my age, that's discrimination. That is ageism at its best. So apparently the CEO of the company was younger than me, and she didn't feel that
having me in my 40s report to somebody in their early 30s might pose a problem. But she said, you sound great on the phone. You look great on paper. I saw HBO and Fox on there, and that's why I called you to consider you for the job. But I would tell you to take HBO and Fox off of your resume because it makes you look older and too senior level. I think it's scaring people off. So she says she called me because she saw HBO and Fox, but to take it off my resume because it would scare people off. But that's the reason she called me. Okay, so here's what I've decided. I'm going to have to start over from scratch, starting my own business, and monetize something online, maybe help people with resumes. Clearly, I haven't figured out the resume thing for myself because I think it's different for each HR person, and HR people are mostly women. So women, and she spelled it out. She hasn't hired any of the older women who are trying to start over in a new entry-level job with her company. She hasn't hired any of them. She gives them all the same advice. So she thinks she's helping people, which she was very nice about it and said, you know, your career looks great. You started as a radio news anchor. You've always been writing. You've been a journalist. You worked at HBO and Fox. You worked as a celebrant, writing life tributes for celebrities and professionals. I get it that you write. I understand that you could write for social media. I understand you write for your blogs and whatever, but you don't have really that much professional experience doing it other than for PR purposes, and your age is a problem, basically. So maybe Michael is right. Maybe Michael is right about having a resume where it's just one job listing and you look like you're 20, just to get you in the door. Otherwise, or interview with a man. I wonder how many women Michael has interviewed with versus men. I'll have to ask him that. It's interesting. Okay, so now I need to put on my thinking cap to reinvent myself and start a new business. So this is a new chapter of starting a successful business. And now I will have to create my own job again so I can be self-supportive and support my children. Welcome to the world. Welcome to America. It's just a great thing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Michael has called a research company to ask about a job opportunity that sometimes is listed on Craigslist, and this is what he found out. In 3 weeks, he has to look at Craigslist to see the ad, and then this is the process.
Yeah, hi. I just got off the phone with the research company, who I've got in contact with one of the HR people about 3 weeks ago, and I've been persistent about it. And she was nice to me on the phone. She explained the whole process. It is very lengthy and, in my opinion, laborious for paying $12 to $15 an hour. There is 4 interview processes. First, I have to wait until possibly July the 20th. We're now in the early part of July, and I would have to reapply in person. I'm sorry. I would first have to have a 20-minute interview on the telephone. Then, if I pass that interview test, I'm called and I have a 2-hour in-person interview with the HR manager plus the call center manager.
2 hours.
Correct, 2 hours. Right.
So if you're chosen for the phone interview,
Right.
you jump through that half hour.
Correct.
So half an hour phone call.
Right.
Then a 2-hour in-person interview.
Correct.
What do they talk about for 2 hours?
I don't know, with 2 people.
With 2 people. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And then once that is done, they'll have to get the final approval by the HR team. Okay. And then I go through a training session. I did not ask this question. I did not ask, which is very important. I forgot to ask this question because I was just so
shocked
about that.
$12 an hour.
Yeah,
you have to go
yeah.
through 4 hoops.
Yeah. So, and then the final say so, and once towards the end of August now, she's telling me
it's a telemarketing job.
that is correct. Yeah, towards the end of August, which is now we're talking about a month and a half away roughly. Towards the end of August, their client flies out from back east, and interviews and makes the final say so because it's a full time between 28. I'm sorry, it's between 28 and 40 hours per week, and he's going to hire 15 people, and that person or that team is going to make the say so of who permanently gets hired. They will have the client will have the final say so on the permanent hiring process, and that pays between $12 and $15 an hour. So
It's not really a full-time job. If it's 28 to 40 hours,
yeah,
it will probably be 28 to 39 hours, so they don't have to pay benefits.
exactly. Yeah,
It's a short-term job for a company
Yeah.
to do research and
Yeah.
telemarketing research online. So you have 20 minutes on the phone for the phone
Correct.
interview, 2 hours in person with the HR people,
Correct.
and then you have to get to the next hoop to be approved by the team from back east.
Yeah.
Then you have to practice your script.
No, the two team members, then that has to go through their HR department, and they make the final decision.
Then 100 times on the script.
Correct, yeah. They want it perfect, verbatim, which is, they want, it's a question and answer survey, and they want it done, a perfect.
But you don't have to have it memorized. You have to read from the script
I
on the phone.
Yes.
It's a telemarketing job.
Right.
So for $12 an hour, that's a huge investment of bus time and everything back and forth
It is.
to hope to get a $12 an hour job. Okay. This is from the National Low Income Housing Coalition. In the state of California, to have a 2-bedroom rental unit, the housing wage has to be $26.65 an hour. $26.65 an hour. That's a livable wage, basically, and that's just the borderline. Basically, it needs to be higher. It's low wage workers cannot afford that kind of rent.
I had a friend of mine. This is about 5-6 years ago. She was a first year attorney. She passed the bar, and she was making $28 an hour.
An attorney.
Correct. Yeah. Starting off. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The federal poverty guidelines for 2015, for the 48 contiguous states and the District of Columbia, for one person, the poverty guideline is $11,770. In my case, the poverty guideline is for 3 people, that includes my children, $20,090. So I am poverty. There's no two ways about it. Now, the Los Angeles poverty rate is greater than California and the nation. It's at almost 18% poverty.
That's incredible. So that's 6% shy of 25%. So that's incredible. So what you're saying is 18 out of 100 people are living at poverty level.
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20% live in poverty in Los Angeles County. We are the working poor. There's no two ways about it.
You know what? I think
it's worse than the working poor.
It is.
It's worse than the working poor. This is poverty.
Yeah.
This is what poverty looks like. That's where you're living.
It does.
We are one of the poorest cities because the wages have to be higher and they're not, and then you have to battle all these people for a telemarketing job.
This is a telemarketing job. Years ago, if you spoke well and you could read a script, you were hired as a telemarketer.
So this is less. We're working for less than minimum wage, basically.
Yeah.
This is sub minimum wage in Los Angeles.
Right.
That's why so many of us are in trouble. And I talked to a friend the other day, and she said, "What do you mean there's a problem with the economy? What do you mean there are people homeless in Los Angeles? What do you mean there are people who can't pay their bills? What do you mean there are people who can't feed their kids?" And I looked at her and I thought, well, this doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you.
Drive her down to 5th and Wall or 5th and San Julian, 6th Street. Drive her down there and see exactly what goes on. I've met some very nice people down there. I really have, and some of them are the working poor. I have a couple of friends of mine. They're security guards, and they go out to work. They're very punctual. They work a night shift. They sleep during the day. They take care of their uniforms, and they're very responsible when it comes to their jobs. But they live in a mission.
Okay, Michael, you were talking about possibly moving to Phoenix, Arizona.
Right.
You need to make only $16 an hour, $16.87, an hour in order to have a 2-bedroom rental there and be able to support yourself.
Right.
Maybe you should move to Phoenix.
You know-
Look, you could look. New Mexico's only $14.84. Montana's only $13.92. South Dakota $13.41. But what is the job market like there?
I would have to explore that. I would. I mean, again, before I make a drastic move, moving out of state, I would have to do a lot of research. I'm just not
Right.
going to get up and move. I mean, I'm not going to leave anyone without a job, and especially like a place like Phoenix, where
You don't have a car. You can't leave.
Yeah,
You're stuck on Skid Row. Okay, Michael just called the LGBT place, and what did they say about your job status?
They told me if I do not receive a phone call within a week, the position has been filled.
You didn't get the job.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's no news from either Carl's Jr., so we're in a
Correct.
holding pattern there.
Correct.
And the research job is, you have to wait till July 20th and catch it on Craigslist.
Correct.
So you have to be on there the 20th or the 21st of July
Right.
to try to find it for a telemarketing job. So in the meantime, it's back to applying through all the websites.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Where's the happy ending? We wanted our happy ending where we get jobs. Oh, Michael got a job. Pam got a job. Isn't this great? Where's our happy ending?
It's in the works. We have to be hopeful, Pam. We have to have tenacity.
Yeah, it's going to end with me dropping you off at Skid Row, waving goodbye. That's how it's going to end. That's how we're going to have to end it.
You know what? Unless someone waves a magic wand.
Michael, do you think that the programs are designed to keep you on Skid Row and keep you down?
Some of them. I think some of them are.
Do you think that HR people are making this so difficult to keep themselves employed that the process is so elaborate
yes, I
to
do.
get a job?
I believe that I do believe now that after that last phone call with the research people for a telemarketing job, I do believe that I think the system now is to keep HR and management employed, and they create work for themselves, and so they can give billable hours to their clients, and to put the actual person doing the actual work through more and more hoops.
It comes down to a crisis in employment.
Yes.
This is a crisis in getting a job. This
Yeah.
is a crisis.
Oh, it is because when I was 16 years old, I got a job in a day.
Every job I've ever had, from the law office I worked at in high school, to the TV station, the radio station, to Fox, to HBO Pictures, to the Celebrant stuff, it was one meeting. One meeting, you're hired, you're on board.
Yeah.
Even the Celebrant thing, I went around and did all those dog and pony shows, and I convinced people in a very short period of time and laid the groundwork for other Celebrants to get work. Do you feel better and happier being down there, more jovial?
I feel more optimistic and hopeful.
Good.
I do. I mean, just getting away for a couple of days again has really helped me. Your being out here where you live is so quiet and peaceful and reflective. I can think. I met a man. I was on the computer, and I met a man a couple of days ago, and he was applying. He's about 62 years old, and he was applying to MIT. And I said, "Oh, you must have a background in chemistry or computer science to apply to MIT." Then he started talking about Mr. Winkle. And I said, "Well, who's Mr. Winkle?" He said, "Mr. Winkle is a small little green, man, and he comes from Jupiter."
Oh.
Yes, comes from Jupiter. Yes. And so after about 2 or 3 minutes, I asked him, I said, "Well, how did Mr. Winkle get here?" And his response was, "Oh, he has wings, he flies." And he was very sincere about that. So I said, "Oh, that's very nice." So I kind of envisioned kind of a Tinkerbell image in my head, when I heard about that. So
You played along with it.
I did, yeah. I mean, I did, yeah. So
You didn't see Mr. Winkle.
No, I did not see Mr. Winkle.
Just checking. But
If
there are
I-
a lot of talented people down on Skid
No,
Row.
there are.
You
Yeah.
have, a photographer who takes
Right.
pictures, black and
mhm.
white photographs, and posts them on Facebook. He lives on Skid Row.
Yes.
You have what other kind of people? You have a painter.
I have a man, as a gentleman who's 83 years old, African American gentleman. He's a veteran. I think he was in the Air Force, and anyway, actually he was in the Army Air Corps, but back then it was called the Army Air Corps, and he paints. He does oil paintings of sailboats. He does a very good job
On cardboard.
On cardboard, yeah. He can't afford canvas, but he has all paintings on cardboard.
So you have a photographer there. You have
Right.
a painter.
Right.
You have a seamstress.
Yeah, Stephanie. She's very nice. Stephanie's a seamstress. She'll sew people's things for free, down there, or for a little donation. And she used to run her sewing machine on the sidewalk on a car battery. But what was happening was she finally found out the car battery on the sidewalk, it was the concrete was draining out all the power out of the car battery.
Oh.
So she actually got a solar panel now. So now she's able to run her sewing machine, her little fan, because it's hot now. We're in the middle of the summer. So she has a little fan going for herself, a little radio, and a sewing machine on solar energy.
Solar energy on Skid Row.
Correct. Yeah.
You also have somebody who's educated. He's kind of a philosopher.
Yeah. Gilbert is very philosophical. We talk about philosophy a lot and why people think what they think and how they ended up down there and different approaches to different situations. And I enjoy talking to him. I enjoy engaging him in conversation. I have a friend of mine, Kevin, who is a master barber. And he's down there, and my friend Bruce, who has a degree in electronics, and he worked for various types of military installations during the 1980s and putting together, working for the Department of Defense, and he's down there. So
you have a lot of talent on Skid Row.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of talented people on Skid Row. People should start hiring people from down there.
I think they should.
Get them off Skid Row.
Right.
Do you know anybody who got off Skid Row since you've been there?
I know a few people that have been placed in housing. Yes, I know two people that have been placed.
But they're in Skid Row housing.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're still on Skid Row.
Right. They're still on Skid Row.
So you don't know anybody who actually moved out to the suburbs or moved to LA, or everybody stays on Skid Row?
No, I don't. Out of all the, I guess, thousands of people that I've met down there in the past 6 months that I've been down there, I've not met anyone who has, lived out to the suburbs or.
Okay, so let's go back to Skid Row.
Okay. Pam has now dropped me off at Skid Row, and I told Pam how to get on the freeway, and I told her, gave her specific directions, and I told her not to stop and ask for directions.
Okay, Michael, good luck.
Thank you, Pam. I'll call you later on, and
Let me know how it goes.
I will. God
Okay.
bless you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Are you homeless? Well, are you hungry? Do you want a lunch?
Thank you.
It's peanut butter and jelly
Okay,
and banana and pretzels.
You're kind.
You're,
I'm lost, but I'm found. I'm not drinking
you're not drinking? That's good.
at all today, anyway. But they're gone. It's been all my life now. I'm talking about some.
How long
Right.
how long have you been homeless?
Well, no, they got out of prison.
Oh, you're out of prison?
And so from there to now, I've been not drinking. All the areas are mine because I dig in the trash. But it don't make no difference as long as it's good that I'm not drinking, but I can see.
But
I can think.
you gotta eat too.
Well,
You gotta
occasionally-
eat instead of drink.
Yeah, you're right. You pretty lady, you know about that. You know, you're El Sharpa. We don't be eating, we be drinking.
Okay, you have a good day.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Bye.
Thank you, baby. You're a pretty lady.
Sweet guy. He's out of prison. He does have a place to live. He's not necessarily homeless. But he's down on his luck, that's for sure. Makes you sad.